Hello, you guys. This is Miss Richardson. I hope everyone had a great long weekend. I just wanted to check in with you guys. Make sure you have completed your work from last week. There's a few of you that still owe me your tessellations, and a couple of you haven't completed your pre-test from last week. So you deem that technically those things are past due. So you want to get those done just as soon as possible this morning. This week, we're really starting to get into the content, a lot of math content. So hopefully you got a little extra rest this weekend and you're ready to go. So I just wanted to kind of walk you through the first few lessons that you need to complete this week. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to have to go back and forth between a couple of screens. So you guys just hang in there with me, please. All right, now my screen is going to look differently than yours because you have student view and I have instructor view. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to do these three different sections in order. You're going to do adding and subtracting decimals. That should take you a full day to do that. And you're going to take the assessment over that lesson. Another day you're going to spend on multiplying decimals. Let me see. And that should take you 2 class periods, basically. I've accounted for 2 days for multiplying decimals. And then 1 day spent on division. So you have well, first of all, let's talk about these icons. So here we have, it looks like a link. And then the second one with the exact same title has a rocket ship. So the one that has the link is basically where you read the lesson, you look at the examples, you try some of the problems they give you, you watch the videos. Every single example problem they give you, you need to do those, but there's nothing to submit for a grade. However, your grade comes from when you see a rocket ship. So once you completed your lesson on adding and subtracting decimals, then you're going to take a formative assessment over that lesson, and that will be put into the grade book. Now on Unit 1 of 6th grade math, you're not allowed to use a calculator, so please do what you're supposed to do and don't use a calculator for Unit 1. We'll use calculators the rest of the year, but not for the first full unit. So I'll let you know when it's time to use a calculator, but not yet. All right, so as you go into adding and subtracting, like I've said a couple of different times, you need to read for understanding. We're not scanning through the textbook. We're reading every sentence. We are interacting with every page, every opportunity we have. So I'm going to read this part under adding and subtracting decimals. And then you have a part that you can interact with. So you're gonna hit begin. Now you are going to be adding decimals, and I don't like the way they have them lined up. So I'm going to switch screens. And I want to show you on a whiteboard. The problem is once I open the whiteboard, I can't see the math problem anymore. So I'm going to write it down. Y'all just bear with me. So just make sure when you add decimals, you want to make sure, oops, that shouldn't be on there. You want to make sure you line up those decimals right on top of each other. You don't necessarily care to line up your digits, you want to line up your decimals. So the first number I saw was 3.165. We're adding, now the decimal on the second number is going to go right under that one. These just so happen to have the same amount of digits, but they won't always have the same amount of digits. So I got my decimals lined up, so I'm going to start in the first place here, which is the hundredths. No, actually it's the thousandths.
Teachers,
make an announcement.
all teachers wanting to take part in Zoom class this afternoon, please meet the cafeteria
All right.
after bus is given.
So we're adding 5 and 2, we get 7. 6 plus 1 is 7. 6 plus 1 is 7. We bring our decimal straight down. 3 plus 1 is 4. So I got 4.777. So I am going to go back to my math page and I get 4.777. I'm going to hit submit and I got to check I'm right. Now I'm assuming that none of these have numbers that carry, so let's try doing these in our heads. Oh, no, I lied. Because 8 plus 3 is 11, so it would be 9.1. And I would write this on my paper, you know, vertically and line up those decimals to get these right answers. All right, so anyway, oh, and well, let me do this one on the paper because this is a good example where the digits don't necessarily line up, but you definitely want to make sure those decimals do.
Students who ride buses in lane 1, please go to the bus ramp. Lane 1 to the bus ramp.
It's the end of the day here, and you guys are going to hear a lot of announcements. All right, so we're going to do 6.5 is this problem. I'm going to line up the other decimal right where this one is, and this number is 8.71. So this is a good example where I'm showing that I'm not lining up the numbers, I'm lining up the decimals. So this is a blank spot, so the only thing you can add in a blank spot,
Evans decorators, please. Keegan Evans decorators.
the only thing you can add in a blank spot is a 0. So we're going to add straight down. 0 plus 1 is 1. 5 plus 7 is 2. Bring down your decimal. 5 plus 7 is 12. I put down my 2. I carry my 1. 8 plus 6 is 14. Plus 1 is 15. And so my answer is 15.21. Whoops, I accidentally hit to end the screen. So what was my answer? Let's see. I forgot it. 15.21. 15.21. So I'm going to go back to my page. And I'm going to 15.21. Submit. I got it right. So there's 7 of these problems. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to practice these problems until I'm completely done. Okay. If your video doesn't work for whatever reason, you can hit show text and it actually gives you all the problems this way. And then you need to go ahead and figure out the answers first. And then if you click right here, it'll give you your answers down here. So even if your videos don't quite work right, you still have a chance to do some practice problems and check your answers. So you need to always check your lesson objectives. Sometimes they say essential questions. This says lesson objectives. After completing this lesson, you'll be able to say, I can add decimals and I can subtract decimals. So by the time you're done with this lesson, if you can't do those 2 things, you need to go back through the lesson. All right, so now I'm ready to go to the next page. So I don't want to click this next button here. I want to stay in the module. Notice I'm on page 1 of 6, and I'm going to go to the next page by hitting the forward arrow. And then double check, did you go to the page 2 of 6? So that's exactly where you should be. All right, so you're going to read the sentence right here, and then we have an interaction part. So we're going to begin. It looks like it's going to be showing us about place value. So I'm going to listen to that.
Students who ride buses in lane 2, please go to the bus ramp. Lane 2, please go to buses.
I'm going to watch the video. I can listen to it. If my video doesn't work for whatever reason, I'm going to show text. And I can read it, go back to my video, try it again. I definitely want my videos to work if they possibly can. So double check them if you're having trouble the first time. So you're going to interact with that particular part. You're going to read for understanding, and then it says help, the help section. So anytime you can click on a link, you need to do that because they're going to give you some important information. So it reminds you how to round to the nearest whole number. It reminds you how to round to the nearest tenths. And as you go through math, the higher you get in math, the more important it is for you to realize how to round correctly. So that is a very good lesson for you guys, a good reminder for you. And then you're going to look at all of these examples. You're going to click right here. You're going to do some estimation. You're going to go here, find the sum. I don't want you to skip any part of this. Okay, all of it is part of your lesson. You don't have a teacher standing in front of you teaching, so this is the way you learn the lesson. Continue on. When you're done, go forward with the forward arrow. Make sure you're on 3 of 6. And then interact with this, read everything, click on every link, look at the rules. They're reminding you of rules in certain places. You have opportunities to do at least 3 examples here where you can check your answers. And then they give you a little extra practice you can do as well. Okay, so if you get done, when I'll give you a whole class period, you know, about 60 minutes to get 1 lesson done, and you're done with it in 10 minutes, that means that you have not interacted with the website correctly. You have not completed all of the practice problems that you need to complete.
All remaining bus riders, please go load buses. All remaining bus riders, go to the loading area.
And so this is a great resource. This is a great Canvas course. I have looked through it. I have seen the videos. I have seen all the practice problems. And if you interact with it the way you're supposed to, you don't skip any steps, then you're going to be successful in this class. Okay. There's a lot of different examples for you to try throughout the lesson. So make sure you do all of those things. So then when you're finally done with the lesson, you've taken your time, you've gone through every problem, you finally make it to page 6 of 6, you're going to make sure you have met these objectives that you can add and subtract with decimals, read the summary, look at the vocabulary term. And so now you're ready to complete your adding and subtracting formative assessment. So either you can, if this isn't acted and you can click there, then do that. You can go to the next button here, or one safe thing to do is always just to make sure you stay inside the math module, is just click on module, and you've finished your lesson adding and subtracting decimals, and now you're ready for the formative assessment. So you're looking for that rocket ship. You're going to click on there. And then without using your calculator, because this is unit 1, you are going to answer the questions on this little formative assessment. It's named a quiz because that's the only thing it can be when it's like a multiple choice type situation. It's not technically a quiz. It's just an assessment over what you've just finished adding and subtracting decimals. All right, so like I said, if you guys deal with and interact with the curriculum the way you're supposed to.
Remaining car riders in the building, please go to the front lobby. Remaining car riders, go to the front lobby.
You'll be prepared to take the formative assessment and do well on it. If there's some problems that you're having trouble with, make sure you write those down and bring it to our Zoom meeting when we meet this week. So make sure you get all those lessons done this week. You're adding and subtracting decimals, you're multiplying, and you're dividing with decimals, okay? I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you at our Zoom meeting. Our Zoom meeting will be Tuesday the 8th at 6 o'clock. And then just for this week, since Tuesday's the first day of school, I am going to ask to meet you guys Friday the 11th at 10 o'clock, okay? So by the end of the week, I want to see what questions you have over all the lessons as well. So write those in your calendar. You'll find them under the What Do I Do This Week module. All right, you guys, I will check in with you later. Have a great week.